Good morning, friends. I, C. Nitesh Setia, Chairman of Chittorgarh branch of CIRC of ICI, on behalf of the Professional Enrichment Committee, ICI, welcome all participants in today's webcast on work-life harmony. I welcome today's resource person, CA Poojaji Bhadia from Nagpur, and the event enabler from Chittorgarh branch of CIRC of ICI.
Chennai.
Good morning, friends. I, C. Nitesh Setia, Chairman of Chittorgarh branch of CIRC of ICI, on behalf of the Professional Enrichment Committee, ICI welcome all the participants in today's webcast on work-life harmony. I welcome today's speaker, resource person, CA Pooja Bhadia, and the event enabler from the Chittorgarh branch of CIRC of ICI and other present here. So now I welcome CA Ankur Goel, Treasurer of Chittorgarh branch, to introduce our today's resource person, CA Pooja Bhadia. Ankur ji.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I get this opportunity to introduce our speaker, Pooja ji. So I start that. We chartered accountant are the caretaker, protector, and manager of our client wealth. And in this, all we ignore our health. Today, I get the opportunity to introduce a person who is multifaceted professional and transformed her career from CA to a certified life coach, counselor, and energy healer. So this great personality name is Pooja Bhadia, CA Pooja Bhadia. With 14 years of expertise and mastering her skills with hands of experience, Poojaji's passion lies in empowering individual students, professionals, and entrepreneurs from all walks of life.
Complete.
Pooja's mission is to equip individuals with essential life skills and heal from the roots for personal and professional success. Her passion for continuous evolution motivated her to become proficient in three powerful healing modalities. She aims to achieve holistic wellness encompassing physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being for the body, mind, and soul. What set Pooja apart is her comprehensive approach to healing and personal development. She believes in deep into embracing peace and empowering oneself. Pooja's achievement in develop deep into embracing peace and empowering oneself, and her understanding of life is visible when she says trauma is not your fault, but healing is your responsibility. Pooja firmly believes that life skills are vital in both personal and professional spheres. She considers healing individuals. Her mission as an unhealed person can be more of a liability than an asset in a society. So over to Pooja, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nitesh ji and Ankur ji, for the kind introduction. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I will just begin my session. A very, very blissful morning to all of you, Saturday morning. And just give me a minute, I'll share my presentation. Yeah. Is it visible to everybody, my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So let's begin. I think one of the most important topics of a chartered accountant's life, especially with all the news that we keep hearing here and there, and people have started to actually realize the importance that a harmony is needed between your personal life and your professional life. So I'm very grateful for the honor to have present this to all of you. So let's begin. First of all, I think all of us are very familiar with work-life balance. Why work-life harmony? That's what I'm here to give you a gist of. Let's start with the quote by William Barclay. There are two great days in a person's life, the day we are born and the day we discover our why. I think this is a very important. Our birthday is very important, and we truly, give life to the birth that we have been given when we discover the purpose why we are born on this planet Earth, and that is the why. So the longing for the why takes us through our personal pursuits and our professional responsibilities, but the why actually lies between your personal and your professional. It's not all about personal, it's not all about professional, it's somewhere in between, where you find the purpose, where you feel harmony within yourself, and you feel complete content, and there is a fulfillment that is nowhere found otherwise. So I think these are the very important days in a person's life, and that's what we all aim at becoming. So the shift from balance to harmony. So basically, what is balance? Like we have a weighing scale, right? If we put something on the one side and the other on the other side, it's always an up and down. So balance is all about um, so what happens is when we start our journey, we focus so much on balance that we keep pushing, 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 and the balance is very hard to achieve. For example, a similar situation from my life itself. At one point of time when I was about to lose weight, I was like, trying to push it off. I'll start a diet, and then work out, or maybe I'll work out and then I'll start a diet. But what happens is you can't have both at the same time in the beginning. We start with one thing, we keep pushing, 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 and the other automatically falls in place. 1 week of proper exercise will make you motivated to maintain the diet, or 1 week of maintaining a good diet will help you motivate to start your workout journey. So don't wait for balance in the beginning. Find the balance while you get into the journey, and that's where you achieve harmony. So the shift is from balance to harmony, where you learn to honor your hard work and your journey to balance. So the day we stop chasing for balance, we can make new beginnings very easy in our lives, and the aim for harmony becomes very, very easy. Okay. So as the introduction was given, I'm sure all of you know that I'm a chartered accountant who has transitioned her career into becoming a mental health coach, an energy healer, body, mind, and spirit. That's what we talk about. So my story of my life, I'm going to share with you, because I think stories stay. If I have to share something, the entire Blissful Navigator that is based and fueled on the experiences of my own life. And I believe that every success doesn't necessarily have to come with struggle. But if there is struggle, you know that at the end there is success, right? So my story of life was also something which began with the struggle in the beginning. The struggle first of being a chartered accountant and handling the peer pressure from everywhere, the family pressure of working as something that was expected out of me because of my degree, because of my knowledge, because of everything else. But was it that, when that quote that I mentioned earlier, you really are born when you find out your why. And my why, when I deep dived into my why was not, just doing financials. My why was a much deeper why, where I was born for. There was something natural in me that kept always igniting. Okay. I had this deep passion to help people. Now, nobody can feel or, actually understand, but even drowning in your passion is a struggle, right? When you're really passionate about something, you just start to drown in it. You forget the world. You forget that there is a world outside that. And that's what happened with me also. I poured my heart and soul into work. And when you start a new business, when you transition your careers at a point of life where, nobody wants to help you around and you're your own help. At that point of time, you have, clients, you have to make presentations, you have to work. You're one, it's like a one-man show, like a one-woman show or a one-man show. So the struggle was drowning in passion. I was so deeply involved that I didn't know that when was it morning and when was it night. I was so deeply involved in building up the Blissful Navigator. Thriving clients, growing business, everything was there. Okay. But the struggle was in the number of hours that I was putting in. And when you have your own business, there are no number of hours. At least if you have a job, there is a 9 to 5. So every job or a business that you choose are going to have nuances. So there was struggle. But the wake up call was the burnout that I experienced. Every single moment right now, I remember the burnout that I experienced. And that burnout, that classic burnout where I hit the wall, I realized that there is more to life. There is more to life. And that struggle came with a solution. So every struggle has a solution, and it's up to you how you find that solution. So I found my solution by first addressing the fact that I was going through struggle, then addressing the fact that that burnout had to happen for me to maybe realize that this is not it. Work is not all it. There is a life beyond it, because my relationship was strained with my son. I was shifting. I'd moved cities from Indore to Chennai, and there was a lot of other things which were becoming strained because of the work pressure that I had put in. Nobody had asked me to put in, but I had put in myself. So physical health also suffers, mental health also suffers, and then your emotional trauma goes, So the solution is redefining balance. How do you redefine that? You start with setting boundaries first. Learn to say no. Okay. So even if a client used to come, morning, night, or whatever time, because I was really striving hard to make it big, I would just give in that time. And then in the solution phase, when I sat and introspected, where can I cut down? What is it that I'm doing wrong? I realized that I'm not saying no. So setting boundaries is a very, very important decision to be made in a business or your work, where you learn to say no. Not everything needs your yes, and not everybody needs your yes. Okay, so we need to, and it's not a one fit all solution. Also, some things work for someone and some things work for someone. So find out according to your body clock, according to your rhythm, what works for you. How many hours of work works for you? How many hours of me time works for you? How many hours of socializing work for you? So I redefined that by setting boundaries. Then I prioritize self care. Okay, I've always believed that you cannot pour from an empty cup. And when the burnout happened, I really, really experienced that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You need to time and again refill. That's when I started to take more breaks. I used to take breaks, but at one point of time when everything is just happening all at once, you just keep going in the flow. Like I said, you keep drowning in the passion because you're so passionate about your work. So I took more holidays, vacation by myself, explored myself, more of workout, physical yoga, meditation, and healing. That's what made me an energy healer also. So, healing really helped me in that process of where I was experiencing burnout. So, burnout is not only physical, it's mental, emotional, every aspect you can experience a burnout, right? Then the last bit of it was delegation and prioritization. Okay, so when we understand that everything does not need our attention, I think we are a much more harmonized soul and we can experience a work life balance very easily. So I started to delegate the things which were important, not that I needed to do it, it was important or urgent to be done, but maybe my presence or my work wasn't required in that. I was doing it all, so I started delegating it. So delegation and collaboration, that is a very, very, very important factor. So learn to do that in your lives. And once you start delegating, I think you will start finding more me time. That's when success actually comes. Okay. So when you introspect, when you start experiencing that there is more to life, success automatically follows. In my journey, I feel there are no, I've experienced, and I also feel that in everybody's journey, there is nothing called a failure. Okay, there is success and there is successful. In the journey of success, you may have to go through struggle. In the journey of success, there will be solution if there is a struggle. God puts you through struggle with the solution, but you need to sit and find out the solution, what works best for you, what environment works best for you, what hours work best for you, and what kind of work works best for you. So that's when you truly become success, right? So my experience fuels the mission of the Blissful Navigator, where I coach, mentor people individually in groups, and I also give life skill training, soft skill trainings, and heal every single day. Like I said, trauma can be given by anybody, but healing is your responsibility. So that's what is the story of my life, where I found work life harmony with my own struggles and bringing out my own solutions, moving towards success. So I'm here to share my harmony with you. Yes. So whatever you are doing right now, give full attention to this and just don't listen, absorb. Maybe take a notebook and write down some things if wherever you feel like writing down, because there'll be a lot of places where I'll be asking you to do some written work. So keep a notebook and a pen with you and pay full attention, because it's your responsibility to work. It's very easy to blame somebody else for what happened to us, but it's not the solution, right? The solution is whatever happened, whoever did whatever, it happened to you. It's your responsibility, because you are the one who is the choice maker, and every choice that you make comes with consequences. So your choice defines your consequences, and you always have a choice to say no. You always have a choice to put your foot down. You always have a choice, and that choice is yours to make, right? So that's the story. So a lot of things we'll be discussing through the session. If you have any questions, if you want to share anything, ask anything, please feel free to write in the chat box. And anytime the tech team, if you feel you want to share, you can unmute and ask the question. I'll be happy to answer. Yes, let's start. So what is work-life harmony again? Finding the perfect harmony between your professional responsibility and your personal pursuits. Each is very, very important. Right now, it's a weekend. I'm from Chennai. I have come to Pondicherry and I'm taking this session. So earlier, I would be like, I have a session and the whole day would be blocked. I wouldn't do anything with my son. But I realized that I need to spend time with family, with my own family, with my own, for myself also. So, I think work from home has also given us that liberty to be wherever and do whatever. And for those 3 hours, we don't need to block the entire week. So, right. So personal pursuits and professional responsibility, find harmony between. So this is very easy to do it with time and energy management. And I'm going to take you through that process also. So prioritization, boundaries, and how to manage yourself so that you can manage your harmony. That's what we're going to learn. Okay. Why is it important? Like I've been telling you, health and well-being. When we talk about health and well-being, it includes all physical, mental, emotional, everything. Productivity and creativity, the more time you give to yourself, the more productive you become. And that's when your creativity strikes. Maybe those new ideas are not pouring on because you're boggled with work. But when you take out that time for yourself, that creativity enhances, it builds up, and it gives you more ideas, more choices. So it's like quality work with less quantity of time, right? Relationships. It's very, very important to maintain your relationships. When we talk about relationships, you're going to talk about all relationships, just not a partner relationship, but family, your mother, your children, your friends, your professional relationships, everything is important. And retention and recruitment. If you as an employer are wanting work-life harmony, what are the factors that need to be considered? How to retain and how to recruit people who will be able to help you in maintaining that decorum in your organization. Okay, so work-life harmony is important in all of this. Let's talk about physical health impact. Okay, as we all know, we are all living in the stressful world and we keep talking about chronic stress a lot. What is chronic stress linked to? Headaches, digestive issues, gut issues. We all experience gut issues, digestive issues, weakened immunity. The main reason is stress. So the more we give importance to just our professional pursuits without maintaining our personal physical health. Okay, so there is a meeting today. Let's skip our exercise. It's very easy to skip something which is not work related, right? But how many times would you skip a meeting to do exercise? That's a question for me. And how about we find a balance where we don't have to skip work or we don't have to skip anything health related? Maybe we can do a 10-minute workout that day. Maybe we can do just a 20-minute workout that day. But we should maintain that time for ourselves because it rejuvenates us. It gives us more importance to ourselves and it reduces stress. It gives us another level of calm, which is very important to be fresh and very important. So again, one more thing I would like to tell you here is we often see triggers, okay, 2 months we worked excessively and, we fell ill or we had a really chronic illness or whatever it is. It's not that moment of few months or few weeks that you worked that has caused that. It is a lifelong baggage that you have carried. It's just the trigger that happened now. So don't push yourself such that you reach that trigger point. That's very important, right? Because the trigger is in your hands. Whenever you want, you can switch it off. And how? By realizing at a very early stage that this is leading to stress. So whatever is giving me stress, let me work towards it. Let me not just keep doing that. Let me work towards overcoming that stress in whatever ways I can. You don't have to give up your work. You just have to find the balance between that. Okay. Sleep disruption. A lot of us experience disruptive sleep patterns because of the sedentary lifestyle that we have. And it's very, very easy to keep drinking 10 cups of coffee and keep working. And it's become the new norm where drinking coffee is so cool. I mean, I love drinking my coffee. I drink coffee every day. But there is an extent to which we can consume caffeine, right? So caffeine is not the solution for sleep, work. Rather, sleep is the solution for work. So instead of drinking that coffee, 10 cups, maybe take a 10-minute nap in between. manage your time so effectively that you're able to fit in those gaps where you work. Okay. Sedentary lifestyle, like I already mentioned, little time of exercise is every day. When I say consistently working, it's not about showing up every day also. Sometimes it's okay if you didn't show up on day one. Sometimes it's okay if you didn't show up on day two. But because you didn't show up on day one and day two and day three, doesn't mean day four you start feeling neglected and neglecting your health, that you start feeling, okay, now I've not done it at all. Now it's very difficult to go back. No. The moment you feel that 2 days have gone and I haven't done it, the choice of coming back, and that choice of coming back is what consistency is all about. It's to do more often than not. So make that choice, because the choice is in your hands. And working out could be anything. There are different ways. Find what makes you happy, whether it is a yoga workout, whether it is a movement workout, whether it's just cardio, walking, running, gym, whatever works for you. Maybe it's just stretching. Whatever works for you, do that. Just do what makes you happy, but don't sit just like that. Even if you're sitting, try to sit in different ways so stretching happens. Movement is the key, right? Impact on mental well-being. Burnout. I have experienced this, so I'm telling you out of my own experiences that burnout is, you should not reach to a level where you've burnt out, because then that's it. Then all the hard work that you have put in goes for a toss. And that hard work had to pay off. But now, because at the moment when you've reached the peak, you're done. And you don't know what to do after that. You like just go high and then fall, and then go high and then fall. So consistency is not going about like this. Consistency is maintaining a balance. Like your heart also beats in a sync, in a rhythmic motion. That's how you're supposed to feel. So don't do anything to an extreme where you feel a burnout. And again, the choice is yours. We can't blame the work environment, the bosses, the people around us, because they will do what they will do. But it's up to us what we want to do. The moment we take a stand, everything changes. All right. So use the choice effectively. Do not reach to the level of exhaustion. Anxiety and depression. Again, mental well-being. Depression is a very common factor now. In fact, even before we reach depression, people start calling it depression. So that's another story to talk about. Anxiety is very common, and it happens almost, it used to happen earlier for older people. Now it happens even in children. Okay, because we are so heavily synced with the dopamine, with the technology that we're receiving, that the moment we don't get all of that, that high is not there, and that anxiety keeps happening. So mental health will be impacted if you're constantly exposed to technology. So take those breaks, and try to do something which makes you feel like a kid again, because as a kid you don't know what anxiety and depression is. So try to play more games, try to move around, try to laugh out loud in literal sense, not in LOL emojis, but really, really work towards making yourself a better person so that you don't reach to that level of depression. And also, if you've not truly reached clinical depression, don't, I would say, stop saying that you're depressed, because the more you say it, the more you are leading towards that. It's your thoughts that ultimately take you to the journey. So that's again an important thing. Decrease satisfaction. Work dominating personal life leads to dissatisfaction, because ultimately the fulfillment is in harmony, right? We will never be fulfilled and peaceful unless we do what we love, or we love what we do. And most of us are not doing what we love. As I said, you're not doing, our passion is different, our profession is different. So it's very difficult to find that harmony. I understand. So that's what I truly believe, that some people have the courage to make their passion their profession. Not everybody has it. So what do? They take their passion and convert that passion, at least say 20%, 30% into their profession. So you do what you love to do every single day, maybe for a limited time, okay, for your satisfaction, and the rest for the money or for the stability that you're looking for. So don't ignore your passion. Keep that, because you will always feel that emptiness, and that emptiness is going to take you nowhere. Like this empty cup, people will come and keep putting whatever they want because the cup is empty, and they don't want it, right? So they are putting it here. So it's basically garbage. Other people's garbage is what you're taking. And that is not going to make you feel fulfilled. If you want to be fulfilled, you have to fill your own cup by what you love, so that that does not be treated as garbage, right? So that's about well-being. Relationships is one of my favorite topics. Impact on relationships. Often we see that you know uh, we come back home, whether it is a man or whether it is a woman, doesn't matter. Everybody's working these days. You come back home, you take the work back home, and you keep working from home also, and then there is no quality time spent. So when there is no quality time spent, even if you're like talking to that person for an hour, but sitting in the laptop and talking and looking there and here, and also doing housework and eating food, it's not a healthy way of doing it, because there is no quality time. And we all have our own love languages, everybody has. So your relationship is definitely being affected. In the short term, you may not realize it, but in the long term, there is a huge damage that you're creating. And then when you want to go back to fill that damage, it's like too late. All right. So before it gets too late, try to give in quality time to your relationships. Try not to get the work back home. Even if you're getting the work back home, make sure that when you come home, you make sure that that limited time that you have set aside for work can be pushed a little later, and spend quality time with your family, and then communicate to them that this work has to be done and you need this much time, so that they also don't disturb you and you also don't get disturbed. So there is quality time in work as well. So what will take 3 hours to do will be finished in half an hour, and you have more time to come back. So communication is very important. This will help you maintain that work-life harmony, because the next point is communication breakdown. It leads to communication breakdown because we don't communicate. So communication is the key. Whenever I have clients coming over, I always say everything can be solved with the right way of communication. Okay. What will happen? Either it will go well or it will not go well, either of the cases. But the chances of it going well are much higher, because when you communicate your feelings and you're not in a diplomatic state of mind, the other person really understands. And maybe at that moment they're not able to do that, but at least sometime later, the reminders will keep coming to them mentally, and they will work towards that. So communication breakdown happens when you are not maintaining the work-life harmony. And if a communication breakdown happens, your relationship is definitely for a toss. Neglect and resentment with the partner or the children. So everybody needs their time, right? If you were living in a family, you have your parents, you have your partner, you have your children. Everybody needs their respective time. And anyone who doesn't get that time, because they're waiting for you all day long to come back, that resentment is going to there, and that ignorance is they are going to feel neglected. Now, that neglect is actually speaking their problem, but it's also yours, because you have not created that boundary, or you have not created that pattern of communication. So the other person is constantly feeling neglected, and going into the state of anxiety, and then later into depression. And then we start blaming that, they are going through depression, and because of that, you don't want to be with them. So it's like a circle. It's like a vicious circle. So before that other person goes and becomes in that imbalanced state of being, imagine what and all that person must have experienced to go there. So the idea is to not let it reach there, right? So keep working, and it's never too late. Even if you feel that any one of your family members is in that state, talk to them today. Go back. I mean, if you're at home, only talk to them. If you're not at home, just talk to them. How are they feeling? Just a little chit chat or conversation, even if it's a weekly once conversation with the family, on how they are feeling about your work. How are they feeling about your life with them, about your relationship with them? It's good to ask, because you get perspective. Sometimes we feel we are doing the right things, but the other person may not be experiencing the same. So we also need to know the other side of the perspective, who is experiencing it in the other end, right? So those experiences will help you become a better person. Emotional distancing happens because of not maintaining a work-life harmony, and starts with little by little, and then it becomes too huge a gap to be men. So work on that. Lack of support, they start experiencing lack of support, that they start feeling that, okay, you're to never there anyways, it's just gone. That support that they could have come to you, now even if the thought comes that they want to come to you, the first thought will come and negate the thought that, okay, he's never there. And then they start doing things on their own, and then later you will start feeling neglected, because they stopped asking you for support, because when they asked, you weren't available and you never took care, and now they don't need it. They're independently doing it. and you will start feeling it the other way. So the impact is also going to fall on you. It's a two-way street. Erosion of trust. I think trust is the binding factor for any relationship. And if you're not going to be able to maintain that trust, and that will not be maintained because of your imperfect lifestyle that you've chosen. So that's going to many people. I mean, I keep moving around, keep traveling, and I like to talk to strangers. I often ask them that, why, like, some people are just so engrossed in their work, they make work their life because they're trying to run away from their family or trying to run away from an unhappy relationship. It's not going to help if you are not happy anywhere. Okay, it's not about the other person only, it's also about you. If you're not happy anywhere, address it, talk about it, do something about it. Do not try to use work as a barter your life for work, and do not barter your work for life. Simple as that. So let's talk about the common challenges. Long working hours is a very, very important issue. We've been discussing a lot in the CA fraternity in the current scenario. A lot of people have been, I've gotten a lot of texts from people saying that, we're realizing the importance that, because CA demands a lot of working hours. And it's just about, I think it's high time that we put our foot down and tell our clients also that if you come last minute, it's not going to be done, you know. So we are the ones who are giving that liberty to happen because of the deadlines. The work needs to be done well in advance, well planned, so that it's spread over a period of time and you don't have to work for a few days, 24 hours. Out of 24 hours, you keep working 22 hours. That's not the right way of doing. So long working hours need to be cut down. And even if there are long working hours, there should be sufficient breaks. And if you've not been given a break, I think it's high time you start asking for it and taking it. Do not take it for granted. It's up to you. Your body clock may work differently from the neighbor's body clock, and you have to respect your body clock, and the other person has to respect that. For some people who have working capacity of 8 hours, some people only have 6 hours, whereas some people have 12 hours. So find what works best for you. That's how you overcome it. Stress and burnout is a common challenge, and technology overload, like I said, more often than not, we just had to clean our houses earlier. Now we have to clean our laptop. Now we have to declutter our laptop. We have to declutter our phone. We have to declutter our emails. We have to declutter our WhatsApp. The more apps we download, the more technology we do. We have to charge. We have to declutter. We have to remove, delete. Every day is a stress. Every day. So the less you will be exposed to it, or if you have to because of your work line, find the right people, delegate it. Do not overload anybody, including yourself, because it's not good for health. Setting priorities. As I said, once you start setting priorities, you'll start saying no more often. And yes, for the right things, you'll start making space for the things that are important to you. And I'm going to show you a video. Enjoy this video. There is audio. I'm able to hear.
Yes, madam.
Huh?
Yes. आवाज नहीं आ रही वीडियो की.
1 minute. I'll play it again. Oh, where is that? 1 second. Stop share, is it? Okay, 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. Yes, okay, got it, got it. Okay, sorry. Yeah, 1 second. I'll play it again. Is it?
Everyone.
Audible now?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
We all have this one life to live. A fleeting shadow amongst all that exists in this vast universe. We have the ability to accomplish anything, truly anything, if we use our time wisely. Is this jar full? And is it full now? Yes. And how about now? Is the jar full now? Yes. Yes. Yeah, it is. Now, I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. Golf balls are the important things, your family, your friends, your health, and your passions. The pebbles are the other important things, your car, your job, your home. The sand is everything else, it's just the small stuff. Now, if you put the sand into the jar first, you won't have room for the pebbles or the golf balls. And the same is true in life. If you spend all your energy and your time on the small stuff, you won't have time for all the really important things that matter to you. Pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness. Take care of the golf balls first, the really important things. Set your priorities, because everything else is, it's just sand. Yes?
Professor, what does the beer represent?
I'm glad you asked. It goes to show that no matter how full your life may seem to be, there's always room for a couple of beers with a friend.
So I think that's one of my favorite videos to show about prioritizing your life, right? We all have to choose. Now, the rocks may be different for me, may be different for you, may be different for your family members, for your professional colleagues. So everybody's rocks are different, everybody's pebbles are different, and everybody's sand is different. To some, rocks may be, to some, what may be important to them may not be important to you. So that important to them becomes their rocks. The idea is that fill your life first with the most important and the most urgent things, prioritizing it so that you can make room for everything little by little. But if you choose to fill it with the unwanted stuff, then your jar is already full. Where is the room for the rocks and the pebbles, right? And the last message that I would like to say is, no matter what, there is always room for a couple of conversations with your own self. Because in all of this prioritizing, do not forget your own self. So make sure you do make that little me time here and there, you squeeze it in, because no matter how full your jar is, you always have time for yourself. It's just the choice that you make. So the moment you stop complaining that I don't have time for myself, I think you will start making time for yourself, because time is constant. Everybody has 24 hours. You just make that time work for you by removing the unwanted and by right prioritizations in your life. Okay. So 1 second. Okay, so there may be, we've all learned about the SMART goals. There are SMART goals, there are fast goals, and there are clear goals. Okay, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, timely, frequently discussed, ambitious, specific, transparent, collaborative, limited, emotional, appreciable, and refinable. If we work just on the SMART goals, there is no work-life harmony. But when we work with SMART, fast, and clear goals, I think we can maintain a proper harmony between our life and the work that we choose to do, because everything is so transparent, specific, we frequently discuss it. Okay, it is collaborative, and collaboration is the key to it. And there is more scope for refinement. There is more scope for emotions in it, right? So just don't focus on the SMART goals, focus on the fast and clear goals along with the SMART goals to enhance your approach. And like I said, time and energy management, there is no such thing as time management. There is only self-management. Time is the same for everybody. How you manage is your self-management skills. So work on your self-management. So we are going to talk about 3 principles. One is the Pareto principle. It's called the 80-20 principle, where we realize, out of deep study, we've realized that there is 80% and there's 20%. Out of the entire 100%, 20% of the task is what really matters. But we end up focusing on the 80%. Rather, if we focus 80% of our time on the right 20%, the results will be much more profound, right? So when we save that 80% of that time, the 20%, the 80% work is also done. So don't just work smart on the right things. And remember, the right things will vary person to person, situation to situation, and circumstance to circumstance. So what may work for one may not work for the other. What may have worked at one point of time may not work at the other point of time, right? So every time you need to redefine your 80-20 principle. Now that you worked on an 80-20 principle, there is a time management activity that I would like to take you through. If you have a paper and pen, you can just simply write down the things that you're thinking of right now. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Would you be interested in writing down? You can just show it by yes in the chat box so that I know how many of you are interested. Can you just write if you're interested in doing this activity right now? And could you let me know? The tech team, could you let me know? Is anybody there? You can just write down in the chat box to let me know you are here with me. Ayaz ji, are you there? Are there any messages? Are there any messages in the chat box? Okay. So the idea is to, let me just explain it to you. You can do it whenever you want to do it. The idea is to make a matrix. First, identify what are the things that you're thinking in your mind. Do not prioritize it with urgency or non-urgency or importance. Just write them down. And after writing them all down, go through the list at once on the basis of importance. If it feels important to you, write I. If it feels unimportant to you, write NI. The idea is that whatever feels important to you, okay, we will prioritize that. Whatever feels not important to you, we'll give it to somebody else. So first you prioritize with importance and not importance. Then you go through the same list again and you identify what is urgent and what is not urgent to you. Okay, so after identifying that, every point that you've written down has an important, urgent, or INU, NIU, NINU. Any of these combinations will be there, right? So what you do is you pick up those combinations and you place them in the matrix. Whatever is the INU will come in the first quadrant. Whatever is important and not urgent to you will come in the second quadrant. What are the not important and urgent will come in the third quadrant, and not important, not urgent will come in the fourth quadrant. So out of all of these quadrants, this is just some example points that we have written. It will differ again from person to person. So maybe relationship building is important and not urgent to me right now, but for you, it may be important and urgent because you have a strained relationship. Okay. Personal development may be important but not urgent to me right now, but it may be important and urgent to you, or it may be not important, not urgent. So find out what is coming in which category rightfully for you and put that in that category. Now what we do is we start from the fourth category, which is not important and not urgent. Since it is not important to you as well as not urgent to you, you dump it now. You don't wait for it to happen. You don't make room for it. Like we said, it's like the sand. In the end, if there is room, we can just sprinkle it here and there. Right now, we put it in the dump it now category so that we can make space for the important things. Then we move to the third quadrant, which is not important and urgent. So what we do in this quadrant is we delegate it because it is important to be done. It is urgent, but it's not important that you do it. So what do? You delegate it now. You don't wait for a later date or a later time to delegate it. You delegate it in the now moment and make sure that this delegation happens the moment the thought comes into your mind, because otherwise it will keep boggling you down and it will keep coming to you again and again and interfering with your important stuff. The second quadrant, which is important but not urgent. Now it's important to be done, but maybe after 2 months, 3 months also it can be done. The urgency requirement is not there. So instead of postponing it, okay, because postponing you will forget it or it will keep coming back to you, you rather decide now when to do it later. So you put a deadline, you put a date that right now I don't want to do this, but it's important, so I don't want to let it go. I don't want to delegate it, I don't want to dump it, but I want to do it. But right now is not the right time to do it. So maybe it's after 6 months is the right time. So I set an alarm in my head, literally by putting a deadline, and automatically your mind will remind you just before that date, just before the deadline. But you have to be specific about what deadline you are choosing. So you have to decide that deadline also now. So decide now when to do it later. Okay. The last category, but the most important category is the do it now category, which is the important and urgent. So what you do is whatever was to be dumped has been dumped. Whatever had to be delegated has delegated. Whatever has to be decided now to be done later has been done. So you have all the room for the important and urgent stuff. So don't keep sitting with it. Do it now. Okay. Now, this do it now category is there. But how do we do it? That comes another point. So we use the Pomodoro technique for that. What does the Pomodoro technique say? Whatever is important and urgent has to be done. Do it now. But don't do it at a long stretch of hours. Use the Pomodoro technique for the task to be done by setting a timer. Usually it says 25-minute rounds and 4 rounds. So 25 minutes you do that task, then take a 5-minute break. Then 25 minutes you do the task, take a 5-minute break. 25 minutes, 5 minutes break. 25 minutes. So you have done 3 rounds. It's like a circle. Now you've done it, you've taken sufficient break. Now that you've completed that 2 hours, you can take a relaxed 30-minute break where you can move around, you can take a nap, you can eat, you can talk. Depends on what is your rest. Whatever works best with you, you can put that in the rest time. Again, you take a 30-minute rest and then you again go back to the 2-hour working. In those 2 hours also, you do 25 minutes, 5 minutes, 25, 5. So in that case, your mind is refreshed. Okay. You know, this is important, this is urgent. But if you do it in a rush, everything starts failing. We've learned the burnt toast theory. One thing fails and then you start brooding over it and the other thing fails and you know the next thing, the other thing fails. Rather, if something wrong has happened, it's okay. Take a pause, take a break, introspect how to overcome that and how to move ahead. Just in the rush of things, don't spoil the other things for you, right? So that is the Pomodoro technique. This way you can effectively manage your time and there'll be more time available for you to actually bring in the best out of you. Now, the most, again, a very important part, which I believe that all of us need to embrace is how to hack your happy hormones. So there are 4 types of hormones, basically. One is the oxytocin, which is called the bonding hormone, also known as the love or cuddle hormone. We see a lot of people have dogs because dogs love to cuddle and love to love unconditionally, right? Now, how about doing the same thing with the human also? It's important to bond with the right person. So that will help you develop your oxytocin, which is also your happy hormone. How do you stimulate that? You can stroke a pet, you can give a compliment. If right now somebody is sitting next to you, you can give a compliment to them. Okay. Whenever, every single day, you feel something is good about some person, maybe their attire, maybe their looks, maybe that way of talking, maybe their knowledge, something that has inspired you, or something that has left a mark on you. Make sure you communicate it. One compliment of yours will make their day alive. Receiving compliments, and when it makes their day alive, it's going to make your day alive also. So receiving and giving, it's a circle, right? So give a compliment, give someone a hug. Jadoo ki chappi, it's very, very important. Hug is underrated, but the more hugs you give, the more oxytocin is released, and the more you feel bonded with self also. So if there is no one to give a self hug. Hug yourself tightly every morning, every night, and sleep. But make sure you compliment yourself, you give yourself a hug, you give yourself the right appreciation, because it's important. Okay. And if you have someone to do it with, the more the merrier. So hold hands with someone you love, do something kind, and acknowledge that kindness. That will give you your release of oxytocin. The next hormone. The next hormone is serotonin, which is your mood stabilizer. It improves sleep, reduces anxiety, and increases feeling of happiness. All of which is important, because it your work-life harmony, disharmony impacts your physical health, impacts your sleep, impacts your anxiety, impacts all of this in overall your happiness. So mood stabilizer is very much needed. Serotonin. How do you stimulate? Spend some time in the sun, sit out more in the open, don't confine yourself in closed rooms, meditate, do some exercise, go for a walk, do some cardio, yoga, again, whatever makes you happy, whatever uplifts your mood, good habits. mm, Anything that does not keep you hooked, addicted, is a good habit. So use that and release your serotonin. Dopamine, my favorite. We release a lot of dopamine because of the technology, because of our phones, because of social media, but that's very temporary, and that temporary dopamine wants us to go back to it again and again. Imagine if that is wanting us to go back to again and again. It's releasing the dopamine, that's why it's wanting us to go back again and again. Rather, if we use our brain's reward system, if we use what we can use best with the surroundings, with the situations, with the circumstances, I think the dopamine that you'll release will last longer. It will want you to keep going back again and again, making you feel close to nature, right? So there are different ways to release dopamine. Technology is just one of them, which is quite harmful. So my way of releasing dopamine is eating a dark chocolate. I love to eat dark chocolates. And the most important and the most feel good way for me to release dopamine is to do a tick in my to do list. When I make to do list and I put a tick, tick is like a reward. Dopamine is basically a reward. So when you post something on social media and you get a like, it's a reward. You feel good. That's your dopamine is released. Imagine you doing that for your own self. You've laid out a list. You want to do that list. You just put a tick mark on that list. That it's done, it's done, it's done. And if the tick mark is not there, you come back to it, want to do it. So that wanting to do the list, to put that red tick mark. As a child, if you go back, when the teacher used to put that tick mark and very good and amazing and excellent, those remarks, that is the kind of dopamine that I want you to feel good. Okay? So take something off your to-do list, get a massage, listen to some feel-good music. All of this will help. Uh, don't focus on external validation, because that dopamine is going to really be harmful to you. There are ways which you can do it without external validation. It's very, very important. Okay. Then the endorphins, which is your natural painkiller. I think increasing pleasure and reducing stress is important. So instead of just taking hundreds of painkillers a year, I would rather say do something funny, exercise. Like I said, eat some dark chocolate. It's good for your head, your heart health also. And intimacy. It's a less talked about thing in our society, but intimacy is physical, intimacy is emotional, intimacy is mental, intimacy is in every angle. You know, having good sex, having good cuddles, having hugs, you know, and basically feel intimate. Not necessary you have to have a person. You can feel intimate with your own self also. But intimacy is very, very important, because it really brings down your stress levels, and the pleasure that you feel and experience is going to make you go better and better in what you do. So again, endorphins. So all of these 4 happy hormones are very, very important. Now let's talk about the wellness programs. The employee assistance programs can be initiated in an organization to maintain that mental health support, appointing a counselor, giving in off times, making it compulsory to do meditation every 2 hours or, in a day, twice or thrice, and following up, setting up leaders to do that, setting up group activities, team activities to do that, fitness and nutrition programs, offering healthy food in the workspace, or giving them that allowance. So there are different ways every company can work out in their own ways. The smaller the company, bigger the company, SMEs, whatever, wherever you are, find that ways. As an employer, I think it's very, very important that you instill that habit of, I happened to visit a Salesforce office and I felt that, their way of wellness programs and the way they take care of mental health, I think it's very, very important. So it's up to the employer again how you do it. Technology detox is something that nobody can make you do. You have to do it by yourself, and you have to be sort of reward yourself for it. I think that works best. That, if I'm going to keep my phone away for a day, this is what I'm going to give to myself. So everything that you want to buy for yourself or you want to treat yourself, put it like a challenge of technology detox. And these digital sabbaticals will help you, rewire your brain and your thought process, and it will increase much positivity in you. So set screen time limits for yourself, unplugging from work emails, unplugging from anything, and just taking for a walk without a phone in your hand, going to the washroom without the phone in your hand, watching nature without a phone in your hand, not clicking sunrises and sunsets, but experiencing them. After experiencing it, you can click it, but first experience it. So the first thing, I'm not saying no. I mean, I like to click pictures also. I like to do that, but first experience it. Don't, the moment somebody says, look at that, you take out your phone to take it. So I think those are the little things that we can avoid, and that will serve as your technology detox. It'll unplug you, and unwinding will happen. A very beautiful video that I'm going to show you again, because I think we have all kinds of people around us, and children are a very important part of our life, and this will probably highlight what I'm trying to say.
Mum, can I ask you something?
Sure, what do you want to know?
How much money do you earn if you work for an hour?
That's none of your business. Why do you want to know about how much money I earn? Look, I haven't got time for this. I'm busy. Go and get ready for school, quick. Go on. Jack! Can you come down for a minute, please? Okay, you wanted to know how much I earned earlier, and I'm really sorry for shouting. I think I earn about £80 an hour.
Okay, thanks, Mum.
Well, why do you want to know?
Can I have £40, please?
No, it was your birthday a few days ago. Why do you want more money?
Please?
No! I'm not a bank account. I'm your mum. Look, get out. I'm busy. I'm not a bank. Jack? Look, Jack, I'm sorry about earlier. I was just a bit stressed, that's all.
It's okay, Mum.
Hey. Here you go.
Thank you.
That's okay, honey. What are you going to do with the money? Jack. Jack, what on earth do you need all that money for?
I'd like to buy an hour of your time, please.
We have two lives. The second begins when we realize we only have one. So let's be more conscious. Let's be more present in the moment. Let's be more intuitively present in that moment and spending quality time with our family, because ultimately we say we are working for the family, but if you're not there for them, then what's the point of working for the family, right? So that video that I showed you, again, out of my own personal experience, I have had that moment with my son and I know how it felt once I had it. And after that, I'm super conscious about the fact that if I'm not able to spend time at that moment when he requires my time, I make sure to tell him, communicate it to him, and give him a time for which he doesn't have to wait now, but he will get that time from me again, and commit to it. And when I do the commitment, I make sure I fulfill the commitment. So for example, uh, whenever I'm working, my son often used to come and ask me, like I said, I was drowning in passion. There was a time where I was working nonstop and I was really building something up, and it takes a lot of time. So it happened to me once where he used to come, and there were holidays apparently, and he used to come again and again, watch a movie with me, watch a movie. And one day I just screamed it out, because it happens. We're human and it's natural. It gets frustrating at point of time because we are also not enjoying what we're doing, continuously working. But that was the realization point. And the next time, whenever he came, I made sure to commit to him that, okay, I can't watch a movie right now, or I can't play a game right now. But how about, at this hour of the day, we will do it. And qualitatively, we will do it with whatever you want. So we compensate it. This makes sure that we are also not experiencing guilt of not doing it. We are able to focus back better on what we were doing. The child is also not feeling lost and confused, and rather doesn't have to keep waiting, because we keep saying we'll do it, we'll do it, we'll do it, and the child is waiting when will they do it. But if we give a specific timeline, like decide now when to do it later, I think that works best. So Stephen Covey matrix is something that I've really, really used in my personal life. Every single time I felt that, I was stuck somewhere, it helped me out of it. So that's one lesson that I learned, and I would like to share my learning with all of you, that we have two lives. The second begins when we realize we only have one. So let's all of us make the most of it, and give the most of what we have also, right? So there comes the point of boundaries at home. It's important to set boundaries at home. Like I said, in family, there are different people and everybody needs your time. Nobody should feel neglected, and yet you cannot fulfill everybody, right? So maybe you decide that, 5 minutes here, or maybe today I'm going to spend time with this person. So you communicate to the other person that, tomorrow I'll play a game with you, or tomorrow I'll go out for dinner with you. So you have to figure it out. You can't do everything at once, but you can streamline it, and you can prioritize it, and you can fix times for different people with different, in all of this, not to forget your own personal time, right? So establishing boundaries in a family is very important with each family member, and remembering that self-care isn't selfish, and we all need that self-care, whether it's meditation, exercise, relaxation, communicating. It's so important to communicate that I need time for myself, right? So again, an example, right now I'm taking the session from Auroville. I'm not in Chennai. It's like 2 hours away from Chennai. But the fact that I wanted to spend time with my son, I wanted to take him around. It's a nice weather, beautiful weather. Yet I wanted to do this session with all of you. So when you communicate, right, that you need your own time, the people around you understand, and they find something else to do in that extra time, right? But if you keep cribbing that I don't have time, I'm always, you will never have time, because you're still in that cribbing and mode where you're seeking validation, or you're just uh, hoping that someone will come and save you. Nobody will come and save you. You're your own savior. Remember that. So you have to take care of yourself, whether you are a mom, whether you are a dad, whether you are the only person working in the family, the only person handling the finances in the family. You are the savior of your house. You can only be the savior of your house when you are your own savior. So it's very, very important to create that space, not only emotionally, mentally, spiritually, but also physically, dedicated space at home, and do self-care activities, and so that people understand the boundaries that you have set, and you don't have to say more, no more often, because they will understand you, right? So don't make it aggressive, don't make it, selfish, but making selfishly selfless. Make them understand that your self-care time isn't selfish. It's more of a selfless act, because when they are going to be fulfilled, they are going to be able to fulfill you more than what you need. So everybody wants to look what's in for it in them. So give them what's in for it in them, and then see how beautifully you can carve out time for yourself. Hobbies and interest, never let go. Okay, even if you are a CA, even if you're studying for CA, even if you are already a CA and you're always complaining where is the time left for passion, hobbies, interest, people find time and you have to find time. 30 minutes a day, make sure. Like I said, even if you're working and if you're doing the Pomodoro technique where you're taking a 25 minute work and a break, the 30 minutes that you get as a break, you can choose a hobby and interest and pursue that. You can keep that close to you so that nobody is affected. You make sure you have given your time, so you come back happy, fulfilled, and you also engage and enjoy the activity with others because you are a much more happier person. It's all about your own happiness ultimately. Use your emotions wisely because every event is not in our happening, but every outcome is in our happening, is a choice we make by the response we choose. So if you react to the event, the outcome is not favorable, but if you respond to the event, the outcome is favorable to what you want. So rather than responding or reacting to the event, find out what is the outcome that you desire and choose the response accordingly. So don't base your outcome on your response. Base your response on the outcome that you desire. That's the right way of using your emotions wisely. Okay. Practical strategies that you can use. I think overcoming the fear of failure and embracing mistakes, because mistakes is not in your hand. Sometimes it happens, sometimes you don't know, but you can't not do it because you are afraid of failing. Fail once, fail twice, that is all leading to a struggle. That struggle is leading to a solution, and that solution is leading to a success. So there's no failure. Okay. Seek feedback and constructive criticism. Ask for feedback, communicate. Ask your family members, how often are you available to them? What is it that they require more of you? How are you doing? How are you performing? Like how you do feedback in a professional environment in your workspace, you also need feedback at home and constructive criticism, because the criticism can either disturb you or can help you build. So choose to take the criticism constructively for your own betterment. Leveraging the power of yet. I couldn't do this. I couldn't find out time. I couldn't do this, but there is a yet. Up until now, I couldn't do it, but now I can. So the change of words, the power of words is very, very, very important. The moment we choose to speak differently in the same language, but with the twist of words, they will help you take responsibility better and help you acknowledge it better. So I think that's a very important aspect, and have a growth oriented support system, because this growth oriented support system is strategies. Wait, before I move ahead, strategies, like I said, when you are in the victim mode and your mind is telling you why me all the time, you can shift those words with try me. If you're in unclear mode, if you can ask yourself if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And when you no longer feel like taking action, okay, you're in that action mode, you just say no longer, I won't be doing this anymore. I will do the right thing that is right for me. So I can't do it yet is something that your power of words, either you can choose to take responsibility, or you can choose to be unclear, you can choose to be victimized, or you can choose to not take action. Choice is yours to make. Okay. A growth oriented support system, a community is very important, like minded individuals who will understand your growth, who will understand your journey, who will understand the challenges with you. So they will provide you support, say I'm not able to do this. And I think abroad there is a lot of community system. India is developing now. It just needs a little more to open up. And I think the more you open up, the more you are unfiltered and non-judgmental, your community members will always be there to help you, guide you, nurture you, take your place whenever needed, and you do the same in return for them. So it's a give and take. So develop that system, spend time in that. Finding your ikigai, I do what I love to do and I love what I do. So I found my ikigai. The questions that I asked myself was, what is it that I love? What is it that the world needs out of me? What is it that I can be paid for? And what am I good at? I think when all of those questions are answered, my passion, mission, vocation, profession, all coincided and combined together to bring in my ikigai. Ikigai is my reason for being. I do what I do because I love to do what I do. And I feel that is my calling and that is my need. So if you are not yet there to what your calling is, or what your sole purpose is, or what you're meant to be for on this planet Earth, to fulfill that purpose, because that's only going to give you peace ultimately, find that out. You need help, take the help of a mentor, take professional support, seek whatever is needed to be seen, in the journey, but just work it through. Okay. Ask yourself time and again, like whenever you spend me time with yourself, this is something that I do often when my cup of coffee in the morning. I introspect. I ask myself every single day, what is it that made me most happy? What are my goals, or how have I prioritized myself, and how do I see prioritizing myself? If I didn't do something, what did I give up? And uh, what was the happening of me giving up that? What brought me joy? So you can ask simple questions like this, because they keep you constantly in the understanding that there is more to work on ourselves, and we are a work in progress. We are not a finished good yet. We are still a work in progress till the end. So how can we make ourselves better? How can we progress to become a better version of ourselves? These are very, very important parts again. Okay. And I do write my affirmations every single day. I post it on my social media, LinkedIn, on my Instagram, on my WhatsApp status. So if you are attracted towards affirmations, I feel it's just a constant shift of how you want to see. So I put out these affirmations because when I put out these affirmations in my highest good, in the highest good of all concerned, with all the aspects considering, I am asking for this, I'm feeling gratitude for it. I think that just works the way it has to work. Okay. So for example, you can start your day with an affirmation like, I'm attracting the right opportunity my way and accomplishing it, keeping my health in check. So you see, there is a harmony. I'm not just wanting to work opportunity, I want to maintain my health also. So I make sure that my affirmation sort of brings that harmony in whatever I'm writing. Okay. I'm a brilliant manager of my time and self, and productively working on my visions and goals. At a beautiful space in life, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. You can choose your affirmation. Whatever you choose, let it be in the positive present tense. PPT is what I call it. Because you need to be grateful for the affirmation that you write. You need to be present in the moment. And you need to make sure that it works for you in all aspects in the highest good of all. Okay.
कर्मण्यैवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भुर्मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि.
So even the Bhagavad Gita says that you have the right only to work, never be impelled by fruits of your work. You should never engage yourself in action for the sake of rewards, nor should you remain inactive. Right? So perform your work with an even mind, detached from success or failure. There is nothing called failure. Again, I said, even if you're struggling in your life, it's a way to reach towards your success. So the balanced mindset keeps you steady in all the dualities of life. And balancing your material and spiritual ambition is just not about choosing one over the other, but about integrating it both harmoniously, bringing in harmony between your work and your life, not to choose work over life or not to choose personal life over work. Life is work and work is life. It just goes with the flow, right? So that's balanced mindset, something that you need. So with this, I thank you all of you for your patient listening, and any questions I would be happy to answer. Thank you so much. These are my contact details. In case you want to get in touch with me or say anything, feel free to get in touch with me. Yes. Thank you. Okay, there is a question. How non-important but urgent to be delegated? Rather, it needs to be done. Okay, so not important is something which is not important to you, right? It is important to be done and it is urgent to be done. But because it is unimportant to you, you don't have to do it. You can delegate it to somebody else. For example, say, I'm a student, okay, and I have an exam to give. Today, I'm writing my CA exam. And immediately after my CA exam, I have a party to attend, okay. Now, I'm a hostelite and I'm figuring it out. I can't find the right dress or my dress is not ironed. Right before the exam, 15 minutes before the exam, I will not sit to iron the dress, right? It's important that the dress should be ironed because I should look good. But it's also important that I have an exam to give. So it is urgent, it has to be done, but it's not important that I do it. What can I do at that moment? Either I go to the exam and in the exam hall in those 3 hours, 10 times the thought will come, my dress is not ironed. Or I can decide to delegate it now to somebody else who does not have an exam to give. that you do it and keep it for me. So I'm done with my job of delegation. So that job will be done for me. I don't have to think about it again. So my mind is free to think about the important stuff, which is the exam. All right. Something that is not important to you, but urgent, can be delegated. What is important to you cannot be delegated. That only you should do it. Who irons the dress doesn't matter, right? As far as it is ironed. So it's unimportant. So this is just an example. You will have different varied reasons for the same. If there's any other question, you can ask me. Yeah. Yes, Nitesh ji.
Participants, if you have any question, just write in the chat box, please.
How to handle negative family environment. Okay, so your family may be quite negative, but again, now I think affirmations really help. And your family may be negative, but that is just a situation, that is just a circumstance around you, that is something that you can deal with, because your family is seeing the side of you which is creating that negativity towards you. So maybe it's up to you in your hand to change that. Like I said, communication, I think the best way is to communicate. When your family is too negative about anything, try to communicate and make certain boundaries, and don't give it into that negativity. That's what would I would say. It's all in your hands. How, when generally do time management activity? I didn't understand the question. When generally do I think time management activity, if you're asking about the time, when should you do it? It's supposed to be done either in the morning once, or once in the morning and once in the night. For a week, I think for 15-20 days, you do it regularly. After that, on paper, after that, you will get used to handling it by yourself. So it will just happen mentally. You don't need a paper and pen for it also. It will happen on the go. But you need to set a habit for it. Any other question? Okay. Okay, no other queries.
Madam, in chat box, first question also there.
I already took the question.
Okay.
Yeah. So no more questions. I think we can.
Any other questions?
Okay, he said no queries. So I think we're done.
I think no more.
Okay, I think we are done then.
Let me proceed for vote of thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has been such an honor to be part of this wonderful webcast on work-life harmony organized by the Professional Skill Investment Committee, ICI. On behalf of this committee, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, C. Pooja Vadia, for his enlightening session. Sincere thanks to the event enabler of Chittorgarh branch of CIRC of ICI who enabled the webcast throughout. A wide round of applause and thanks to the organizer, Professional Skill Investment Committee, ICI, our today's speaker, Pooja Vadia, and other stakeholders make the webcast a memorable one. Finally, we would like to thank all of you present here and helping us make this webcast a grand success. Thank you once to all of you. Thank you, madam. Thank you, participants. Thank you, committee, for this wonderful session.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you.